What's up guys, it is me, Rex. Welcome back to yet another video of mine. As a quick disclaimer, I'm German, so please don't judge me too hard for my pronunciation, grammatical errors, whatsoever. Feedback of any kind though is very welcome. Don't be shy to correct me, I'm always out to learn. So finally, today I'm gonna cover and discuss and document the entirety of my speedrunning journey so far. I'm also gonna have a quick and brief overview of how you can get into speedrunning as well, with all sorts of tips and tricks for you to learn. Beware though, I'm still somewhat of a rookie speedrunner, so I'm covering things that have worked for me personally. Everyone learns things differently, so these methods might not work for you. Before we start, I also stream on Twitch, so make sure to check the description box for the link to my channel. I'm announcing all of my streams on Twitter as well, which is gonna be linked down there too. I currently mainly, or rather only, stream MHRise on there. I do anything you can think of, from playing online with friends all the way to building sets. It's not only limited to speedrunning attempts. Make sure to check that out if you're curious enough, and maybe drop a follow too. So finally, without any further ado, let's dive right into it. So, right off the bat, let's start with my journey so far in the speedrunning scene. As you might have noticed, with the release of Rise's demo in January, I started making speedruns since I naturally always have a very competitive mindset, and the speedrunning scene of Monster Hunter always looked very appealing to me. I can play games just casually, which might not always be a positive thing, but it's just who I am and I can't really change it, since it really lies in my nature. It has honestly been quite an experience ever since. It has refueled the initial spark I felt for Monster Hunter and altogether why I fell in love with the series in the first place. As someone who hasn't really played much of World or Iceborne, due to bad PC hardware, I was positively overwhelmed with Rise. I still had like 200 hours of Iceborne played entirely on like 144p 20 frames, but I digress. So many new paths had just opened up for me. The movement, the weapon combos, everything's a much more enjoyable experience for me than it ever has been before. That is also the exact point in time where I began to thrive, because I realized I'm not as shit as I thought I was gonna be. If I might say so, I think I'm quite a good hunter as long as I'm willing to put in the work and time to learn a weapon, the monster's movements and openings to its core, which significantly pay off for a weapon like Longsword, since the weapon really rewards you for knowing a monster's each and every move. At first, I was really determined to grind, but shortly after I was somewhat demotivated, because when I started the demo, I felt like I was genuinely a super bad player because I wasn't really doing as well as some of the other top speedrunners I've been following for a long while. Which is a very hurtful mindset to go for, honestly. Generally, comparing yourself to others is a very bad choice for your mentality. What you rather want to do by looking at other speedrunners is looking and seeking out for advice and help. That's what's gonna help you improve dramatically in the beginning. And so it began. I started grinding and improving with the provided hunts we had in the demo. I was following almost every known Longsword player to always stay up to date with their current best times, just so I could compete with those. It was honestly amazing. It felt like a community competition. There were so many players trying to go for the best times all around. I was practicing and cleaning up my Mizutsune runs for days and weeks until we had reached the release of the second demo to challenge Magnum Alo. It was a blast, as I literally felt how much I was improving day by day. So this much for the experience of my journey so far. Now, how did I exactly improve this much as a beginner to the new world mechanics? One might say there isn't much more than just knowing your weapon, the monster's moves and its openings. These things definitely contribute a lot to the experience, but there's a little more than one might see at first glance. Consistency, seeing what others come up with, and sleep. Yes, sleep are key if you are looking for daily improvements. It is something I was quite baffled about when I first thought of. Why do I play so much better day by day? Until I realized it's because of these things. Essentially, what you want to do is a bunch of hunts somewhat close before going to bed optimally, in which you focus on what the monster is going to do and how you can abuse their moves and their positioning to your advantage. So as the next day, what you want to look at is other speedruns of top runners and slowly incorporate good habits of theirs into your own playstyle. After you have watched and analyzed some of the best speedruns out there, you do set thing and improve upon what you possibly can. As soon as you start your first hunt of the next day, you will instantly notice how much better you already play compared to the day before. Obviously, you aren't gonna be a god overnight. As said, consistency is what's gonna be most valuable in the long run. So just stay at it, don't get demotivated, and keep the clock ticking. Well, as a lot of people might know, everything's accomplishable, obviously. But some things are gonna require a little more work than others. The term speedrunning may give off a false idea of the whole thing. Although it says speed, it is one of the most time-intense hobbies you can find out there. The work that goes into one good run is absolutely ludicrous, so don't be blinded or thrown off by the terminology of it. Some of the things I have said here might come off as obvious to someone, but some other people might not know about it, so I thought why not make a video about it. But yeah, I'm still at the beginning of it all, but I'm as motivated as I've never been before, really looking forward to what's to come for Rise's future and what it might hold for us. If you like this, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter and Twitch to not miss any of the sort of content. It is my first video having this much commentary, and yeah, it's still experimental, so if you have any suggestions, make sure to throw them into the comments. I like trying out new stuff sometimes. So with all that being said, thanks so much for listening, and if you still have any questions that were left unanswered, don't hold back from asking them in the comments down below. I'll go through all of them. Now finally, keep grinding fellow hunters and see you in the next one. Looking forward to seeing your runs.